In this module, we are going to learn interval estimation. In statistics, interval estimation is the use of sample data to calculate an interval of possible or probable values of an unknown population parameter, in contrast to point estimation, which is a single number. Jerzy Neyman in 1937 identified interval estimation, which is estimation by interval, as distinct from point estimation, which is estimation by unique estimate. In doing so, he recognized that recent work quoting results in the form of an estimate plus or minus a standard deviation indicate that interval estimation was actually the problem statisticians really had in mind. The most prevalent forms of interval estimations are confidence intervals, that is a frequent method, and credible intervals, a Bayesian method. Interval estimation involves calculation and reporting of an entire interval of possible values. It is an alternative to point estimation, which has the shortcoming of not reporting as to how close the point estimate is to the population parameter of interest. In other words, the possible size of error. A confidence interval is always calculated at a confidence level. A confidence interval of average weight of newly born babies varying between 2 kgs to 4 kgs at 95% confidence level implies that the true average weight, the population parameter here is mu, has a lower limit of 2 kgs and an upper limit of 4 kgs, and any value of mu is possible between these two limits. A 95% confidence level implies that 95% of all samples will give an interval that includes mu as the true population parameter, and only 5% of all the samples will give a wrong interval and hence excludes the line population parameter mu. After studying this module, you shall be able to know about large sample interval estimation, know about interpreting confidence interval, know about confidence level precision. Let us commence this module by understanding large sample interval estimation for mean and some large sample. A random sample from a population with mean mu and standard deviation sigma of size n will have x bar that is approximately normal distributed when n is large, thus with expected x bar equal to mu and standard deviation is equal to sigma divided by root n. This result is derived by applying the central limit theorem. Hence, the standard normal variable z is equal to x bar minus mu the whole divided by root n. We'll also have an approximate standard normal distribution, that is, here we standardize x bar, which is approximately normally distributed, by subtracting Ex bar equal to mu from small x bar and dividing it by its standard deviation. Since the area under the standard normal curve between the values minus z alpha by 2 minus 1.96 and plus 1.96 is 0.95, hence the probability that the standard normal variable z lies between minus 1.96 and plus 1.96 will be 95% as calculated. Probability bracket open minus 1.96 is less than x bar minus mu divided by sigma over root n, which is less than 1.96 bracket close, which is equal to 0.95. Manipulating the inequalities gives the following: x bar plus 1.96 into sigma divided by root n is greater than mu, which is greater than x bar minus 1.96 sigma divided by root n, or p x bar minus 1.96 sigma divided by root n is less than mu, which is less than x bar minus 1.96 into sigma divided by root n, which is equal to 0.95. Thus, in the previous case, we build a random interval at 95% confidence level. It is a random interval since it depends on x bar, which will vary from sample to sample. Hence, x bar plus 1.96 into sigma divided by root n and x bar plus 1.96 into sigma divided by root n is a 95% interval for mu. For example, if it is given that S is equal to 2, N is equal to 31 and XY is equal to 80, the 95% confidence interval is 80 plus minus 1.962 divided by root 31 is equal to 80 plus minus 0.7, which is equal to 79.3, 80.7. other levels of confidence. Any desired confidence level can be achieved by inserting the appropriate standard normal critical value. For example, if 99% confidence level is desired, then since the area under the standard normal curve between minus 2.58 and plus 2.58 is 0.99, hence we use the value minus 2.58 and plus 2.58 instead of minus 1.96 and plus 1.96 in the above 95% confidence interval for mu. Hence, generalizing the result, if 100 into 1 minus alpha percent is the desired confidence level, then the confidence interval for population mean taking sample standard deviation is x bar minus z divided by alpha by 2 into sigma, the whole divided by root n, comma, x bar plus z over alpha by 2 into sigma divided by root n. Hence, x bar plus or minus z divided by alpha by 2 into s divided by root n is a large sample confidence interval for mu with confidence level approximately equal to 100 into 1 minus x percent as discussed. Next, we will understand confidence interval for unknown population standard deviation. When the population standard deviation is not known, we use the sample standard deviation denoted where Sx bar is equal to S divided by root n. Confidence interval for population mean is then calculated using the following formula. Ci for mu is equal to x bar plus Z alpha by 2 Sx bar. Hence, for a sample size n is equal to 50 and x bar is equal to 652.68 and sample standard deviation is equal to 217.43, the following 99% confidence interval can be constructed. 652.68 plus 2.58 into 217.43 divided by root 50, comma, 652.68 minus 2.58 into 217.43 divided by root 50. Hence, the calculation shows that mu lies between 573.35 and 732.01.
Another example is the following. A cab company decides to acquire a new fleet of taxis, and its decision depends on whether the mileage that the car provides is greater than 27.5 kilometers per liter of petrol. The cab company tests 36 cars, and the average mileage for these 36 cars was 25.6 kilometers per liter with a sample standard deviation of 3.5 kilometers per liter. What should be advised to the company? We built a confidence interval based on the above formula. 25.6 plus 2.58.3.5 divided by under root 36 to 25.6 minus 2.58 into 3.5 divided by under root of 36, which is equal to 24.10 to 27.11. The interval implies that 99% of all the samples collected by the cab company will have the average mileage that will be less than the stipulated 27.5 kilometers per liter. Hence, the cab company must try another alternative model that might not require the minimum mileage consideration or involves raising the budget size of the company so that the stipulated mileage requirement is met with the new budget size, etc. Now we will understand small sample intervals for mean. When the sample size is not larger than 30, the assumption of normal distribution cannot be applied. In such cases, we use the student's t distribution. The t distribution is used when the sample size is small, that is less than 30, that is n is less than 30. The population standard deviation is not known and it can be presumed that the population is normally distributed. The t distribution has a mean of 0, it is symmetrical about the mean and ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity. The variance of t distribution, however, is greater than 1, which implies that its distribution is flatter than the z distribution. Variance for distribution depends on the sample size and is equal to n minus 1 divided by n minus 3. Hence, the variance of a t distribution depends on the degrees of freedom defined as the total number of freely defined observation and is equal to the total number of observation less the number of constraints placed on these observation. As n increases, its variance approaches that of z distribution.
The t statistic is calculated in the following way. T is equal to x bar minus mu divided by Sx bar, where Sx bar is equal to S divided by root n. Hence, for small sample, the confidence interval for mean is equal to x bar plus minus t into S divided by root n.
Moving on to interpreting a confidence interval, in the last section we built a random internal at 95% confidence level. In turn, this meant that the probability that the population mean mu lies within the said random interval, that is x plus minus 1.9x s divided by root n is 95%. How do we interpret the above stated underlined sentence, or in other words, how do we interpret the 95% confidence interval? Does it mean that when we take repeated samples, mu lies within the fixed interval? When we substitute x bar, s and n, for example, when we substitute x bar is equal to 80, s equal to 20 and n equal to 31, P mu lies in 79.3 and 80.7, 95 as discussed in the last section. This is not the correct interpretation of confidence interval. A correct interpretation of 95% confidence interval is the following. When we take repeated sample and compute x for each sample, in 95% of the repeated sample of the experiment, the population parameter mu lies within the interval x plus minus 1.96 s divided by root n, and only 5% of the repeated sample will give a wrong internal, in which case the true population parameter lies outside the computed confidence interval.
The figure clarifies this concept further. Internal no true value of mu, repented constriction of 95% confidence interval.
Now we will study confidence level, precision and sample size. A higher confidence level, say 95% as against 99%, will mean that the probability of the true population mean trying within a random internal built using a class interval internal formula derived before is higher. Hence, we should always take a higher confidence level rather than settle for a lower confidence level, say 99%, rather than 95%. Since the class interval derived from a higher confidence level increases the probability that of the true population parameter to be within the class interval derived. A higher confidence level also implies that the internal is wider. A 95% class interval has a width which is equal to alpha into 1.96 sigma divided by root n, which is equal to 3.92 into sigma root n, while a 99% class interval has a width of 2 into 2.58 into sigma divided by root n, which is equal to 5.16 into sigma divided by root n. Hence, higher probability of mu lying within the CI derived from higher confidence level interval emerges precisely, becomes the width of the interval as increased. In fact, 100% class interval for mu shall be minus infinity to plus infinity, which does not provide precise information regarding the true population parameter. Hence, the results of higher confidence level is lower precision in deriving information about the true population parameter. Thus, there is an inverse relationship between confidence level of an internal and its width or precision and accuracy. Here, hence, we reach an equivocal conclusion to the question of whether a high incidence level should be chosen even at low confidence level. An alternative method is to specify the desired confidence internal width and accordingly determine the required sample size n in order to achieve it.
For example, if the desired confidence level is 95% and the confidence interval width required is 10 and given s is equal to 25n, n can be calculated in the following manner. 10 is equal to 2 into 1.96 into 25 divided by root n. Root n is equal to 2 1 into 1.96 into 25 over 10, which is equal to 9.8. N is equal to 9.8 squared is equal to 96.04. Hence, taking an integer value, the required sample size n is equal to 97 in order to achieve 95% confidence interval and an internal width of 10. Hence, a general formula for the sample size n required to achieve an internal width w is n is equal to 2 into z divided by alpha 1 2 into sigma by w the whole squared.
This has been derived from A as discussed by the method above. Following can be concluded from the above formula. A inverse relationship between W and N, or smaller the width desired, larger the sample required. N is an increasing function of O, or more variability of the population makes it important to have a larger sample. N is the increasing function of confidence level, 100 into 1 minus x, since as x decreases, N increases. Now let us summarize what we have learnt in this model. Interval estimation involves calculation and reporting of an entire interval of possible values. The most prevalent forms of interval estimation are confidence interval, a frequentist method, and credible intervals, a Bayesian method. Interval estimation involves calculation and reporting of an entire interval of possible values. It is an alternative to point estimation, which has the shortcoming of not reporting as to how close the point estimate is to the population parameter of interest. In other words, the possible size of error. A confidence interval is always calculated at a confidence level. In statistics, a confidence interval CI is a type of interval estimate of a population parameter. It is an observed interval, that is, it is calculated from the observation. In principle, different from sample to sample, that frequently includes the value of an unobservable parameter of interest if the experiment is repeated. How frequently the observed interval contains the parameter is determined by the confidence level or confidence coefficient. More specifically, the meaning of the term confidence level is that if CI are constructed across many separate data analysis of replicated and possibly different experiments, the proportion of such intervals that contain the true value of the parameter will match the given confidence level.